Join us over Cannabis Closet 420, solo.to/Cannabis Closet 420. Happy 420, everybody. Let's light this. Let's light this.
Hi. I'm like, I'm not even on screen. You're
okay. So I'll see you guys over there. Solo.to/Cannabis Closet 420. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch is where you can find us. Oh, I'm so excited for this show. Come join us. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, you know what?
Oh, what?
We're talking, and I think we didn't even jump in.
He just got here.
Oh, he just got here. Okay.
On. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
What's up, Kelly?
Okay, because I can't see it on my on my screen.
That's okay. So. We're gonna bring you on in just a few minutes, Dallas. I can't wait to talk to you. I'm super excited to meet you. If you have any questions, there's a little private chat button, and you're free to talk to us there. And we'll bring you on in just a second. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Cannabis Closet podcast. I'm Canna Queen. This is MJ. What's up? How's everybody doing? I want to apologize for the last show. I forgot to do the woot woot at the end of the last show, and that's my bad. I'm gonna remember to do it this time. Just a real quick disclaimer. You are about to get highly educated with the Cannabis Closet podcast with Canna Queen and MJ. This is an adult content show with no limitations on subject, language, or actions. Opinions, views, and expressions may or may not be that of the host, their subsidiaries, their guests. If you aren't sure, don't worry. We will tell you how we're feeling, or you can just take a good look at our faces. They might tell you first. It's time to get this session started. So thanks for rolling up and showing up, and enjoy the show. We have an amazing guest today.
I'm super excited. I've been following Dallas. I don't even know how long. Hey, what up, cuz? I don't know for how long. And so he pops up on my feed. It's always been, and so I've learned a few things about him as going through the bio. So I'm really excited because what you see on social media isn't always what, there's always more backstory, right? When you go to, so excited. Where do we want to start? Do we want to, do you have something?
Let's just start at the beginning as we do. We got a few things that I just wanted to touch on before we get into the show. One of the things, I wish there were more Missourians in the room, because one of the things I did want to touch on a little bit and talk about more at a later date is we just got a message. We just got a message shared with us today about the expungement in Missouri, the automatic expungement in Missouri. It's automatic expungement, everybody. We're voting for automatic expungement in Missouri.
There's also, and then there was another post about hemp-derived cannabinoids and being excluded from, being capable of being used. So that harms patients, that harms existing processing businesses. What is going on, Missouri?
So this says Missouri Western Court of Appeals affirms a felony conviction for THC is different from a marijuana conviction. I don't understand how, but okay. So in Amendment 3 did not legalize THC. Amendment 3 did not legalize THC. This means no expungement for THC convictions, period. Before the Amendment 3, before people who support Amendment 3 try to tell you different, this is coming from a court. This is coming from the Court of Appeals in the state. There's no other opinion than this. I'm reading this almost verbatim. I wanted to change some of the language. So we talked about this when we were discussing it before, and I said this amendment does not end prohibition. It does not end prohibition. And in the language, the expungement wasn't automatic anyways, but they kept touting automatic expungement, but it wasn't automatic expungement. But now it's not at all. There's no expungement at all. This is coming from the court. It's documented. It's there. I mean, can it be appealed to a higher court? Yeah, we can keep doing it. We can keep fighting for it. But when we talk about what's happening in the right now, this is what you voted for.
Yeah, as the public defender's office help you Oh
Aren't they
no,
getting? Aren't
no.
they going to be getting 2%
Didn't
of the
they?
tax
Didn't they
money?
get an? Yeah. Didn't they
Shouldn't
get
they be
an
doing something
infusion
about
of?
this? They're
Yeah.
getting the money. They're going to get the money from the corporate cannabis that you guys just hired for your state. They're going to get the money for that corporate cannabis. That 2% is a pretty big penny when you're talking about millions and millions of dollars coming through the system. And are they going to defend these individuals who have THC convictions? Like they can't. It's
I'm trying to find the other post that I saw in regard to the removal and the making it not capable for using
so if
Delta
they
8, Delta
don't,
9.
are they saying you can't use it in the legal market or in the state of Missouri?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find
That's
out.
the question I have. Are they saying
Did
these
Marnie
other
post that?
probably, I want to say probably Marnie or Christina posted that because I'm on Christina's Instagram right now. Finding.night, if anybody wants to follow her, she's got a lot of information about what's going on in Missouri on Amendment 3. She's been reading this document for months and months and months and months and months. She knows it like the back of her hand. She could quote it to you. So I would recommend following them. But that's my question is it saying within the regulated market, you cannot have these other cannabinoids available? Or is it saying in the state of Missouri, we are outlawing these other cannabinoids?
I don't know. I'd like someone to
Hemp-derived
chime in. Like I
cannabinoids.
said, I just saw it in a post, and I should have tagged it, and I didn't. So we'll have to touch base with those three, our three connections, because I think I was like maybe even Marion posted it.
Maybe she did. She'll be in. So maybe we'll catch her on the end and ask about that before we leave. So I guess if I'm mad about anything other than blatant disrespect on my human person, I'm mad about that too. I'm mad that Missourians were lied to. I'm mad that they sold their industry to corporate cannabis. Hook, line, and sinker, they fell for it. They voted yes for it, and now corporate cannabis can do whatever they want. Do you guys know I've been seeing some of the chatter on some of the pages. Micro licenses won't go into effect for at least 2 years. They are going to be 2 years behind the curve from these other licenses that are able to get first dibs.
Right, and they still have to go through the whole process, and that means getting their build outs approved, getting all of these things in line.
Without
that
getting
all cost
paid.
money, without getting paid, without being able to even and they can get denied or turned away. Like it happened. It happens everywhere as they go through the setup process. Be like, oh nope, you need another sink there because you've got an extra 500 feet. Nope, you got to have this because we're going to make up a rule that you need to have something.
You'll get denied and you won't get your money back that you put into the license, and you won't get your money back that you put into the property. It's just a loss.
So that
and it is a loss you cannot write off.
Yeah. So you have to have a lot of money. And so, at communities, you need to band together and support whomever's going after this license. And you need to make sure that is, I don't know.
Honestly, they shouldn't have to wait 2 years.
They shouldn't have to wait 2 years. If this language can be influenced at all, then y'all need to get on it. And then whomever is, I know people are already on it. I know y'all are.
Yeah.
Because y'all are Missouri.
Yeah.
And so
it's terrible. What's up, Ben? It's terrible.
It's awful. So that's Canna Queen and MJ are mad today. On a positive note, November is National Adoption Month, and without adoption, I wouldn't be here. My sis, wouldn't be here. A lot of people that I know, maybe in different places, and never have come into, our sphere without adoption. And so, I think
I'm glad you were adopted.
I got my parents. Oh shoot. My parents used to dress up as Santa and Mrs. Claus
They're adorable.
every year to
Absolutely adorable.
volunteer. You know, just they just love doing it. My dad has always made wooden toys, and
He is
as
real life Santa Claus.
he is. So he's been making toys since we were kids. I have his, you know, we have his original toys, and my mom likes to, you know, she makes these little sock
Dolls, little.
stuffies
Yeah.
to put in the boxes to go to kids that, you know, don't get a.
That's so cute. I love it. Just before we bring our guest on, one last word. I mean, we might bring it back on the tail end, so y'all hang out, because I do, you know, I love talking about this. And actually, Ben, we were just saying that we want to do a show, and let's talk about what like next steps. So we'd love to get you guys back on to talk about what's happening next for Missouri. Maybe at the beginning of December, we'll talk about it. Yeah, unfortunately, it's set in stone, so to speak. And I suggest caregivers band together and get people their med cards to keep the program alive, because your med program is what's, I mean, it's also corporate run, just for the record, but also it's going to save people a little.
Yeah, at least it has some of the, you know, some of the things in there that
your cannabis program has been sold to corporate buyers, though, so that's unfortunate. And what do? We just keep fighting. So we'll have you guys back on and talk about what next steps look like. And we know that constitutional amendments are hard to change. And so, like, what, like, you know,
work on amending, you know, and hopefully they go in your favor, because we've seen amendments to things not necessarily go in the favor that we, or the direction we want. So be a part of the conversation.
Let me ask that question real quick, since we have Ben here, and see if he knows. But do you know, we just saw, I think it was another court document that said they were outlawing other cannabinoids, hemp-derived cannabinoids. Are they outlawing them? I didn't see it. Can you elaborate?
I didn't see. I don't think it was a courting, but it was a post. I don't know. It was a
post.
Medical patients are getting, you know, everyone's getting.
Yeah. So does that mean that they're saying, like they were saying, like hemp-derived cannabinoids? Does that mean that they're outlawing them in the state, or they're trying to do that, or does that mean that in the regulated market they won't be allowed to carry things like Delta 8, which of course, why would we? But what about CBD? What about CBC? What about CBN? What about CBG? What about THCV? What about CBDV? What's up, Jen? I wonder if are they counting those? And then also, I guess the question is it outlaw? Is it going to be like banned or whatever in the state, or just in the regulated market? Because usually the regulated market stays away from the hemp market and vice versa. So that would make some sense to me, but saying that it can't be sold in the state, that's problematic. That's problematic. So anyway, we want to talk about those things. So I'll reach out to you after the holiday, and we'll get you guys scheduled. So yeah, we have a great guest today, y'all.
Yes.
You're frozen. You're freezing and not freezing, but your voice is fine.
Okay. Yeah. You know, signals. And it's technical. I think it's about to snow.
One day we're going to be professionals.
I got weather coming in. I know one day we'll have a producer, like Waxy.
Like Waxy has. Great time, Waxy. Oh, you guys can find we're on a segment of his Thanksgiving show, so check that out. And
Flower power, yeah.
I know you've been so patient, Dallas. Thank you so much. One quick thing before we get into talking to our guests, because once we start talking, we're not going to stop. This show is brought to you by CQ LLC. CQ LLC is a education and consulting company. www.cq-llc.com. Certified to teach responsible vendor training in the state of Colorado. You can reach out by email or by phone, customer service cqllc@gmail.com, or 970-426-5985, CQ LLC. Compliance and education company. This show is also brought to you forever and always by Queen Kitty Seltzer. Queen Kitty Seltzer is a low-dose CBD seltzer with no sugar and no additives. We use natural botanical terpenes to get the flavors and organically grown hemp. This product is manufactured in the state of Missouri, which we love, y'all. We love doing business out there, and we love coming and visiting y'all. We have 3 flavors. We have Lemon Kiss, Bubblegum Burst, and Nearly Naked. There's a little piece of education on each can, and our favorite part about it is there's no yak in the back. You're not going to get that weird film on the back of your tongue drinking this. It's nice and refreshing. So don't forget, go pop that kitty, put it in your mouth. Let it quench that thirst. Yum, yum, yum. All right. So let's bring Dallas in. Hello.
Hello.
Nice
Hi,
to meet you.
Dallas.
I'm Canna Queen, and you
MJ.
know MJ.
just through our virtual connection, just through the internet. I don't know if you had joined us at that point, but I was just saying I've been following you for a while. Just I don't even know how I started following you, and I've watched you in different spaces doing what you do, and so I'm just really excited to have you talk about that. And then as I was reading your bio, I learned so much more about you. So I'm just introduce yourself.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about you. Give us a little introduction.
I'm Dallas. I'm a Canadian. I'm a Canadian dude with an American first name, a French last name, and I'm Indigenous. But I also consider myself mixed breed. So I am an artist, entrepreneur, and a lot of things, I guess. So my artist side, I do the dancing and the culture, kind of marrying those two together, because that's what kind of inspires the dancing and the art that we use in our culture as part of our art. And also on the artist side, I'm a musician too. So I have a musician side to me, and where I play music and create music and perform music. So there's kind of that side about me. And I've been in the business now for over 30 years of performing and entertaining and choreographing, designing shows, being part of big, huge productions across Canada and different parts of the world. I've been in this business in all sort of shapes and sizes of performances and productions. And then also there is, I guess there's an influencer side of me, and where I'm kind of influencing certain ideologies and stuff. So that's kind of a little bit about me. You made a signal there.
Yeah, I was piecing to our people in the comments so they know we're not ignoring them, but we're just like paying attention to what's going on in the conversation. We see y'all coming in. We appreciate y'all being here tonight. This is Dallas. And Dallas, can you tell, because I don't know anything about the type of dancing you do, where it kind of originates from, and is there like specific meaning behind certain moves in the dance or the dance itself? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I do. Hoop dancing is kind of my main bag, and what I do. I been doing that for a long time. I've done all kinds of dances, but the main one I'm known for is the hoop dancing, because I'm a 3-time world champion hoop dancer. So hoop dancing is very different from anything else, anything out there in the world. A lot of people mistake it for hula hooping.
Yeah.
So it's nothing. That. Yeah, it's not that at all. It's nothing. The fact that we use hoops is probably the only thing we have in common.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we have in common with hula hoopers. I've met hula hoopers in my travels, and I have a deep respect for their passion and their art for what they're doing with the hula hooping. However, our style is hoop dancing, so it's Indigenous style. We do it to traditional beat, like a powwow beat,
Mhm.
like to the drums and the singing, and that's kind of what makes us dance, right? That's part of the dance. The drumming and the singing is an equal part of the hoop dance. Like today, though, like in the 2022s, a lot has changed. Though there's hoop dancers that now perform to contemporary beats like classical music, electronic music,
Mhm.
rock and I even performed this to a tragically hip track. I performed to Adele in a big show, you
Oh,
know.
wow.
So and then even if you look at indigenous style hoop dancing and where it goes now, like places like Totem, like the Circus du Soleil, Totem. So it's being accepted in all kinds of realms, is what I'm saying.
Mhm.
It, you know, even though it comes from that. And one thing that most powwow people know, but people that think of hoop dancing think hoop dancers are a big part of the powwows, and they're not. Hoop dancing is not even a part of the powwow, really, because it's never programmed in there. There's never a space for hoop dancers in powwows. The only reason why we ever get to dance in powwows as hoop dancers is because we ask or we've been asked to dance there. So hoop dancing is more of a specialty dance. It's not really a powwow dance,
Mhm.
even though we dance to powwow music, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
And um, a lot of us hoop dancers too, we also dance some of the powwow dances. Like, for example, myself, I dance fancy dance, and that's where I dance with the bright, colorful feathers, two
Mhm.
bustles, you know, the whole 9 yards. Like I'm all decked out, and I look like, yeah, I look like an indigenous creature. That's a little inside joke. You guys should, I'm sure your viewers will Google that because there's this media post about 2 or 3 weeks ago where they called and referred to Indigenous people. And this was an American media outlet that referred to us as creatures. So, anyways, there's a bunch of memes going on there on the internet now about that. So, our people are just kind of making fun of that. And yeah.
Yeah, taking the power back
Oh,
from it.
yeah. We've had a couple actually. Marion's here. She actually a few things that she mentioned actually. What, oh God, I'm losing my train of thought because I have so many things I want to say to you. Um, but that's where that's where, social media wise, watching different, I do follow a lot of indigenous content creators, because I'm so I just learning and through what they're doing, and the fact that there's so that now that there's this capability to educate, we talk about people not understanding, or that, even just like tomorrow's festivities and what it means to people, and now the education and how it has come around and being acknowledged and being talked about, and social media is providing that platform for indigenous and aboriginal uh, life to be told, for real, and
I
and the story.
Yeah,
So
so I just off of that, since you said that, since we're on the subject, if you are gathering with your friends and family tomorrow, especially if there are young people attending your festivities, take some time to educate everybody about actual history here in America. Because also when you said that you saw that, what was it, a tweet or something like that, MJ saw, and I saw it too. I'm not sure who posted it, but or where or who shared it or whatever, but a post that said something like Native Americans are the first
they wanted,
immigrants.
it was Mary, yes, Marion said
Marion
that,
posted it. Okay.
yes, Marion,
I knew, that's why I saw it
that
too.
yes, first immigrants, they want to call
I was like, no, y'all are.
yeah, no.
What? No, they've been here the whole time. Like, it's
And
insane
this
to
is,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, please take the time tomorrow during your gatherings to actually educate yourselves about. Maybe pick an indigenous tribe to learn about, or talk about what actually happened in America and in Canada too. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about because
Yeah, I actually just came from the United States. I was actually in Minnesota in a place called Mankato, and so the tribes of that area of Minnesota, the main two tribes is the Dakota and the Anishinaabe, also known as the Ojibwe tribes. But anyways, there's five main Ojibwe tribes, and there's four Dakota tribes that are indigenous to that territory. And what I found out there too by some of my friends and local people that I got to know in that area while I was there in Mankato is the town of Mankato is known in the United States history as the largest mass hanging in the United States history.
Mhm.
And what had happened is actually they hung, I don't know how many, I think it was like 30 or 35 Dakota warrior men, uh, and then I found out that they actually hung them because they left the reservation, and at that time they weren't allowed to leave the reservation because of the government basically imposed that on them. And so for punishment for them leaving the reservation was they got hung. And it was actually Abraham Lincoln, the president at that time, that ordered that. And so that was the largest hanging in U.S. history in
Wow.
that exact location. So
That's
the difference though between America and Canada
Mhm.
is, in Canada they weren't as violent in Canada. For example, the United States, from what I've studied in history, like I'm a kind of a big history buff. I took pre-Confederation history. I took North American history. I took all these courses when I was in university, so kind of know a little bit about in depth about what happened.
Mhm.
So, anyways, it was once known that at one time the United States Army budget was the entire budget of all of Canada, like to operate our country,
W-
just their army budget alone, and
We
their
are
policy.
greedy, aren't we?
Well, and the policy back in those days was they were sent out to basically slaughter and murder tribes of America, like to wipe them out. Like it was
To
their
steal
motto.
their land and
Resources to
yeah,
steal
and
their
take
land and
their
Basically,
resources.
resources.
that's part of history. Everybody, it's pretty much common knowledge now. Like I'm
It
pretty
is,
sure
but there's
everybody.
still some deniers, out
It is
there.
and it isn't. It is and it isn't. I grew up in Oklahoma, and so I got for a period of time, and so they at that time they did do a lot of education about the Trail of Tears, and I do remember getting a lot of education about American Indian life. My sister was Canadian Blackfoot and also adopted, and so it was, and I don't know, it was just it was part of our culture to understand it. And so,
Yeah.
but I also went to a school called the Park Lane Pioneers. So like we were the
Yeah,
Park
it's
Lane
just
Pioneers. So it
a
just,
little disconnect there. Yeah, for sure.
things have changed. I've heard that they don't educate about these atrocities
I was
anymore.
I would say if you really, you either have to really do the research yourself, or if you go to like he was saying in university and learn history from a university professor.
Yeah, in
Because
Canada they actually offer that for free now.
yeah,
That's part of
look
the
at you.
government.
Are you
Yeah.
bragging?
Well, I don't know if it's the same down there, but you guys
No,
got pretty good
it's not.
programs. Yeah.
No.
No, it is
Uh,
not free. If you want to learn about history, you have to pay for it. And
They
well, you
do
could
have
also go to a
programs in
library. A library card will cost you what,
not,
$5, and you can look
nothing
it
in
up.
most places.
I think
Library card is free.
that is
Library's
actually
free.
free.
Yeah. I
And
will
Yeah.
so,
say
but
that there are programs in some states and in some regions. Well, in some states I will say that provide education for the native population. You just have to bring in your documentation. But as far as like getting education for free, no, that doesn't happen on the whole at all for anything.
Public,
They want
public school, but even public school.
I mean, public school is not education though. It's
I know.
It's standardized brainwashing, basically. I mean, they're the ones that told us that Thanksgiving was this beautiful, bountiful thing, and you know, that everybody was getting along happily, and Snoopy was there. I don't know. Anyways, but
right. Well, so I want to let Dallas, I have you were very humble in your introduction of yourself as I'm sitting here with your bio in front of me. You mentioned you're a musical artist, and so you do play some native instruments, but also you are a DJ. Of an EDM DJ. Is that what I'm reading correctly? And so tell us more about your journey as an artist, how you have do you utilize both your traditional instruments in your your electronic music, or do you keep them totally separate? And
yeah, I've always had a love for music and arts and stuff like that. Being an artist has really saved my life, because I was listening to you guys earlier talking about how I think it was one of you mentioned that you're adopted, and yeah, okay, I can kind of relate to that. That's kind of why I got into all these different mediums of art, of what I do or what I consider art, like the dancing and the music and the DJing. I just always have had an appreciation for music. So my DJing side, I'm always trying to think about the perfect song that would mix with the next song, and how that would make a room feel, what the vibes would feel like in a room, and trying to experiment too with different sounds and different music. So my DJing instincts, they always kick in, like what do people want to hear, or what do I want to hear, what do I want people to feel, or what kind of vibes. And sometimes I notice, though, depending on your audience too, if you're playing to a bunch of hicks that like country music and you're playing EDM, they're not gonna like it. But
I like the description.
I found
you're not wrong.
Yeah, so I mean, like I found, though, like I have played in audiences though too that like both. So I found a happy medium. I found some pretty cool remixes of country songs, like that were electronified, I guess. So I found that, and yeah, I've done DJing for a long time. Back in the day, I used to like make mixtapes and stuff for my friends. I would mix all the hottest songs and
Back
kind of
in the day, mixtapes.
Yeah,
you're of our
I love it.
I was literally making a mixtape, because I was like recording it on a tape, I was mixing on a board with CDs and vinyl and actual.
For those of you not of our generation, that is when you put random music, but it's not random because it has a meaning in the order that it's in, onto what it was, a little cassette tape. It was a little piece of plastic with some like ribbon inside of it that your boombox would eventually eat to pieces. And that's how we listen to music.
And if you wanted to record
that's also how we told each other we loved each other, by making each other mixtapes.
You had to wait for the radio station to play the song for the 10th time, and make sure you had your finger on the record button.
And you would call in to request the song a million times so that they would play it. Yeah. So it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. And that's true love. If somebody makes you a mixtape, I'm not even going to mess around. That's real love, because they literally had the DJ talked over at the end of the song sometimes. And then you couldn't even use that. You had to start again.
Yeah,
You had to
totally.
start again.
That was radio style mixtapes for me. Like I'm sure we all been through that. Where we record songs off of the
Yes.
radio. Yeah, I didn't mind that though. It was kind of annoying that you'd hear the DJ like halfway between songs and that.
Like, shut
It
up,
was
dude.
fun
We're
You hear
trying
a
to
little
though.
bit
hear
of a
this
flip.
song.
Yeah.
You had to call in to request line.
Now we have Shazam. Yeah.
What is this song? Let's just add it.
Um,
We have
Yeah, I was always like
Spotify.
fascinated with like the dials and changing the sounds, and the fact that I can blend two songs together and have an effortless flow of music. Like
Yeah.
that was for me, that was the essence of DJing for me. I didn't get anything too fancy. I wasn't like a scratch DJ or nothing like that. I'll play around with a couple of effects here and there, maybe do a loop or two, and just kind of mess around with stuff like that. So that's always been a part of me, and I have those instincts. Like I'm not full out. I wish I knew like how to make a living at it, because I'd love to do it more often. But I mean, I kind of just everything I do, I always do it for the passion first, and if it monetizes, cool, and if not, then I'll just keep on grinding and finding my hustle, and the things that I do most, I don't really have to hustle. Like if you find a true passion in something and you find a happy medium with that, I found out that's what works for me. So like that's what hoop dancing has given me. It's given me the opportunity to have the resources to try stuff like DJing and try stuff
Mhm.
like picking up a guitar. And I don't rely on a living to do those things, but those are part of my art and what I do, and that's more of a passion project. And the DJing, it takes me places here and once in a while, and
I
I
bet you meet some interesting people.
yeah, for sure. I've met a lot of interesting people in my travels and places I've went, and I'm always meeting new people all the time with all the shows I do and the traveling I do. Like, yeah, it's a never ending process.
So we have a question from the audience. What led you to hoop dancing, and what age did you discover hoop dancing?
Yeah, relating back to my adoption story is I was adopted at birth. I was actually adopted by my mother's cousin. So my mothers were cousins, and we kind of knew each other. And my birth mother, she didn't really, she wasn't really capable of of taking care of children mentally. I don't think,
Mhm.
because I think because she suffered a lot of trauma as a child herself, and some people when they're traumatized as children, they don't ever recover.
Oh, don't we
and
know it?
and so I think she's that type of person. She's like a functional traumed out person.
Mhm.
And so like I kind of I have a relationship with her today. Like I'm one of her four children that I'm the one that talks to her the most, and I'm the
Mhm.
closest with her. My other siblings aren't as close to her as I am,
Mhm.
because I've forgiven her and I've realized that, hey man, this woman brought me into this world. I have to show my gratitude for that, and at least acknowledge her, and regardless if she raised me or not, still be somewhat
Mhm.
part of her life, and have her part of who I am as well.
Well,
So
she's
hey,
lucky to have you.
yeah, I'm grateful to have been brought into this world, and and I don't know if this applies in other cultures, but I know in our culture they say that before you're even born you choose your parents. I maybe you guys have heard that before, maybe not. And I find that interesting, because we choose our parents because we choose a situation like that we want to be in, and figure out the lesson and persevere and uncode it, so to speak,
Mhm.
and figure it out. And that's because you can't just, I guess, be born into like with a silver spoon in your mouth and have everything perfect. I'm sure there's challenges on both ends of the spectrum of
Right.
that.
Right.
So
We just don't see it because we don't have that lived experience. If anybody is sitting here like nobody should be questioning why this gentleman is on the show today, because everything everything you've said the last 15 minutes is just like exactly what we talk about, things that we talk about. And that's so sorry to interrupt your story where you have a relationship with your mother. I'll let you have the floor back. I apologize.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So, anyways, I was adopted, and this also relates back to when I was talking earlier about the United States government policy was to kill the Indian and kill the Indian, and in Canada it was lesser than that. It wasn't as violent. It was kill the Indian, save the man, and that's why we had residential schools in Canada. So that was their way of doing that. And that's related to how my mom turned out. My mom was a product of that, and I'm a product of it. I'm an intergenerational survivor of residential schools, and residential schools in Canada were like refugee camps. Like it's where, our my grandparents and parents suffered many abuses, like physical abuse, sexual abuse, mental abuse, all kinds of stuff like that. But anyways, to make a long ass story short, I'm gonna shorten it right down to okay. A lot of my generation, the culture was not as prevalent. I didn't know the culture. I grew up in my community my whole life pretty much, and I didn't know what dancing was. I didn't know what powwow was. I didn't know about ceremonies. We would speak the odd Cree word here and there. That's our language, the Cree language, but there was no real culture in our community, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so how I got into hoop dancing is I was actually off the reserve in the city in Edmonton, going to an all native school, an all indigenous school called Ben Caffrobe School. It's in Edmonton. It was the big native school, and it's still around today actually. So I'm a former student there. So I went to school there, and a lot of their policy there was just themed around native culture, like learning a little bit more, that like influencing learning the culture. There was still the main curriculum stuff we had to learn. But anyways, because I was going to that school, I was around a little bit more culture, a little bit more of that. And then there was a friend of mine I went to school with. His name was Joe Chatsis. And so one day after school, I went to Joe's house, and in his living room, he had one of those day beds. So you can kind of, I don't know, it's just part of the living room. So anyways, underneath his bed, he had a big pile of hoops. And I was immediately drawn to them. I'm like, you don't see that in somebody's living room, a big pile of hoops.
No, never.
So right away I went to them, and of course, me being a silly, I was always a jokester kid. I was like, hey, Joe, what's these for? Hula hooping? So I grabbed them and I start trying to hula hoop them around. And he's like, no, you idiot, get out of here. Those aren't for that, man. I'm not a hula hooper. And he showed me. So he just grabs a pile of hoops and then throws them on his body, and poof, all of a sudden he's an eagle. And then poof, he flips it, and then all of a sudden it turns into a flower design. And then he's like, poof, flips it, and then he's a butterfly. And then poof, he makes a globe. I'm like, wow. That was like, it just kind of blew me away. I was like, because I had never seen such a thing in my life. And, I grew up on a reserve most of my life. And so that's kind of how I got into hoop dancing. Like, I didn't grow up with it because the culture was not there. And that was part of me telling that earlier part of the story about my mothers and how they lacked culture. So that's kind of the backstory on that. So to me, how I got into it was the magic of the hoop dancing. It was a magic trick. I was always fascinated by magic and doing cool tricks, like doing a backflip on a swing and being a daredevil. And so that's kind of what drew me in, is to be a hoop dancer. And dancing, it made me feel good. It occupied my mind. It took my mind off of the shitty things I went through in life, like being adopted. Actually, I didn't even know I was adopted. I found out I found out as I got older, and as I found out, it kind of messed with my mind a little bit. And then I got taken away from child welfare when I was really young, and getting tossed around to different foster homes, ending up in a group home, then eventually getting into trouble with the law after that, and then I ended up in jail. Believe it or not, I was in jail, and I think around 13 or 14 years old, I went to jail.
Who
And
put you in jail at 13?
yeah,
I mean,
that's what's so messed up is like nowadays you can't even that's not allowed. You're not allowed to do that to teenagers.
Yeah.
They don't do that to kids anymore. When I was a kid, throwing a kid in jail was normal. Nowadays, the media would have a firestorm. It'd be
oh
all over
man,
the
the
national
whole
news.
fit.
Yeah, like all the Karens out there would throw fits.
Yes.
You know,
I mean,
they would
finally
change
something they could
laws.
do that was useful. I
They
mean,
would put a trucker convoy out.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they would do all that crap. You know,
Finally
so,
they would be of use. Like,
yeah. So, when I went to jail, it was actually jail. It was humiliating because I got treated like an adult because they even strip searched me. I was 14 years old and they strip searched me to go into jail.
your child.
Yeah, I was a child and I got strip searched by grown men, and it was embarrassing and humiliating, and yeah, but that gave me a wake up call though. Regardless what the positive I'm going to take out of it is that it gave me a wake up call.
Yeah.
Smarten up, otherwise I'm going to end up. I guess that was just a practice run to the real thing because I didn't see some of the gory stuff that goes on in penitentiaries, which is probably a lot worse than juvenile penitentiary. So I was at the Edmonton Young Offenders Center. 3 weeks to me felt like 3 months, felt like a lifetime. It was, yeah. And I still get flashbacks even to this day. Like when a door closes every once in a while, I'm waiting for the airlock to go. So every once in a while I get a flashback.
So crazy.
Yeah. So at that time when I had that epiphany in being in jail, being a wake up call, I had this thing I was flirting with called hoop dancing, and so I stopped flirting with it and I started loving it and letting it occupy my mind and my psyche and everything, and it brought me closer to culture. Then I started going to sweat lodges and ceremonies, and I started to want to live a good life and walk a good red road, they call it, right? So that's kind of in a nutshell how I got into hoop dancing, and that's a little bit of backstory and the origin story of myself.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
Yeah, just kind of went on from there. I just excelled. My first set of hoops though was probably my neighbor's garden hose, and I apologize for that. I probably scooped it up from a neighbor or something.
Well, they'd be all right.
Yeah, they're fine.
So when you
They changed your
choreograph dances, are you doing it to tell a story? Are the dances a part of a story? Are they like historical stories, or are they just stories that are something of you?
Yeah, the story is not told in a linear fashion. It's told with with the dance being the storytelling and the viewer making sense of that or connecting to that in a lot of different ways. So it's not a traditional way of telling like a storybook story. It's more of a dance story, and so the story is always about life and the continuum of life and how energy and forces flow in life. Just like when you're smoking your doobie there and you blow the smoke and it does this, right? Or it does a circle. It comes from the earth, it grows, and then it cures, and then you roll it, and then you smoke it, and it goes in your body, and then it goes into your mind and to your soul, and then it goes in the air, and then it does a circle. So That's what
Look at you speaking our language over here.
that's what the hoop dancing does, though. It goes and perpetuates that idea of what life is and where life comes from and the meanings of life and how we're connected in a lot of ways, more ways than other. Just like, you know, like a basket that's woven together. You know, all the parts kind of tell the story of how that was woven together. Um, you know, there's lots of different ways you can look at it. You can look at it as a visual art too. Like when you see actual images you can recognize. You can see things like the eagle, the bear, or the buffalo, or um, whatever it may be. So that's kind of what hoop dancing is. And yeah, that's what I've understood hoop dancing to be. And
That's beautiful.
yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful.
I love it. Do you have any other questions? Anyone have any questions for Dallas?
I'm so intrigued.
Well, while you're
I want to. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, well, while you guys have me, I guess, and since this is like a cannabis podcast, instead of talking about hoop dancing all day, I can probably share some things that I know about cannabis and what's going on in Canada about that.
Oh yeah, we would love
Yeah.
to hear.
Oh, we would love
Yeah,
that.
from an indigenous perspective, the way cannabis is looked at, unfortunately, our elders have kind of been trained. Their mind has been trained to think it's bad because they grew up with that Rockefeller era where they demonized it in the 1950s and 60s, where they demonized it. So it's imprinted on their minds, just like how this is relating back to the residential schools too, like, and how they were punished for speaking their language. Their hair was chopped off and all these things happened. So that's why our elders believe it's bad. You know, like some of them that are still in that mindset. But what's interesting about that is in my lifetime, I'm not going to say any names or nothing or who, where, or when I saw it, but I know and I've seen elders use cannabis and smoke it and enjoy it.
No, we are
And
not saying any names on this podcast.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, exactly. So that's what I
Keep
mean.
our name
Like,
out of that.
so like there I'm just letting you know the kind of the two sides of the story.
Yeah.
With that, you know, so there's a large group of the majority of elders that are kind of against it because it's been demonized, right?
Right.
And it kind of like, to them it's like anything that alters the mind state, or anything, is not good. So, and they don't know much about the benefits of doing it, you know, about the effects of THC and CBD and what it does for the body and the mind, and it's you know, it has potential cancer curing properties about it. You know, I've done my research too.
Mhm.
So yeah, as for the elders that do use it, they use it because it helps them with their arthritis, and you know, like there's a lot of pains with growing old, and I guess it's better than taking meds, because one problem that we do have in our communities, that and that's why I think there should be more education in our communities about cannabis use, because you know, like too many people are reliant on pills. Like
Right.
there's a major epidemic of pill popping on reserves on First Nations all across Canada, and I'm sure it's the same in the US. You know, like there's
Yes.
pill
Along
problems
with
and
alcohol. Yeah.
yeah, like
Mhm.
alcohol. That's an old problem that still hasn't gone away.
It's
And
not gone away. I just want
It's
to
addition to.
I want to tell our audience though that even though in America, even though Native Americans account for the lowest percentage population wise, they are in the highest percentage of alcoholism in the nation. And it's because of colonization. It really is. It's because we took away resources. This is generational, right? We took away resources and then said this is what you can have. This is what you can have. And And so a lot of that was like alcohol and things like that. And also we know that humans self-medicate when things aren't going swimmingly. And so that also contributes to it. But like, yeah, I mean, having more education around cannabis in indigenous populations would be, especially with some of the elders, like that, because they don't know, because you're right, it's been demonized since in America since 1937.
Well,
Since before then.
since our Prime Minister Trudeau got in, that a lot of people don't really like our Prime Minister, but I'm a fan of Trudeau. You know, I've always liked Trudeau.
He's hit or miss.
I've been good with him. You know, like he legalized weed in Canada.
He
All across
legalized
Canada.
weed, but he
He
also
legalized.
did blackface, or brownface. So
Yeah, that came out later. I didn't know that
yeah,
till
you
later.
know,
That wasn't as cool. But
he's hit or miss.
yeah, I guess so. Like, yeah, so. But anyways, ever since he's legalized, though, ever since weed has been legal in Canada, it's become a lot more normalized now. Like Canada is almost caught up to Colorado now, and their products and
You
everything.
guys
Like,
are doing way better than us, in my opinion.
I'm pretty sure, you know, the Prime Minister was like, we are going to make Canada better than he said that. I mean, you know, this was a years ago statement, like when Colorado was still like at the top, and yeah,
there's
Colorado
less of
was
a
like,
negative.
and that's it.
Yeah, there's less of a negative stigma around it now too. Like it's becoming a lot more socially acceptable, especially on reservations. Like there's even reservations in Canada that are setting up grow ops, the dispensaries. Like especially in BC, if you go to BC, it's a lot more socially acceptable in BC for First Nations reservations to have dispensaries on the reserve. And I think BC is the most advanced though out of all of Canada.
Yeah.
They have the most advanced acceptance and tolerance of cannabis products. Like they have a lot more products. It's way cheaper out there, and then the potency is actually very good.
I came out there right when you legalized. It was the weirdest experience I had ever had. I went into a store. You guys had just legalized like days ago, right? So I just went into the store and I was like, can I buy anything here? And I wasn't expecting to hear a yes, but they were like, the guy had a French accent. I'm not going to pretend to know how to do that. But he said, do you have a medical card? And I said, well, not from this country. And he said, do you have a medical card? And I showed him my Colorado medical card, and they gave me a Canadian medical card so that I could shop in their stores. And I got to shop the whole time that I was there. It was insane. And in the place where I was, I could smoke wherever you could smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, that was it's lots has changed though since those days. You know,
that was like the very, very beginning. So when everybody's like, do whatever you can before the laws are set in stone.
Yeah, there's there's bigger problems though on our First Nations and our communities. Like there's other problems too, like meth is a big one right now.
Yeah.
A big, huge problem.
Us too.
Yeah, like on our res, like I've known and seen some family members that have been on it, and I've seen what it's done to their life, and that's unfortunate. So
oh, did you already put these up? I think you did.
I took that one, but yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So, all right. There, Marion Coon said a comment there. That's cool.
Yeah. She's one of your followers. She loves you. She's very excited that we were having you on the show today. So her comment to the full extent, just to touch on what Dallas was saying, many elders truly believe it's still a gateway drug, and unfortunately there are high rates of alcoholism and drug abuse on the res. So yeah, exactly what we were just talking about. I wish these elders would look to folks like, am I going to pronounce this wrong? Paiute tribe. Did I pronounce that right? I'm not sure.
Peyote.
Okay, thank
I
you
guess
for
that's
correcting me. Who single-handedly preserved the safety of their tribe via Nuwu Wellness. Not to mention, sovereign tribal lands are still being raided for hemp. And I want to say that the last raid has been within the last 5 years. And then she says, I also don't appreciate that tribes have to negotiate, let alone actually pay taxes in order to play outside of the res. So thank you, Paiute. I think I
yeah.
said it right this time. Thank you
There's
very much.
yeah, there's all kinds of advantages and disadvantages of that. I guess I can only speak from the Canadian side and my area
Right.
where I know, and I
Is
don't
it-
really know the American side of things.
We're doing a little dance because it's thank you, Paiute. Okay. Thank you for correcting me as many times as I needed, because if I had heard you say it, I would have been right. Okay. So I just want to make sure I was saying it right. But it is 4:20 on the West Coast. So happy 4:20 West Coast. Holla holla. So usually before we get off of our show, we like to do a would you rather. So I picked one today. So everybody, did you?
Are we? Well, I just wanted to have
Sorry.
Dallas share his socials if we're gonna
You're
do a
correct
little
about
wrap
that.
up.
You're doing
Share
that.
your socials. We've got you can visit his website, Dallas Arcand. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing your last name properly. Is it Arcand?
Yeah, DallasArcand.com. Arcand.
Arcand?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't really
said, I
accentuate
don't
that
really
D
know.
very much. I just say Dallas Arcand. So it sounds like I say it without the D, but there's a D at the end of it. Yeah, I just got a heavy res accent from the res, eh? Yeah, I got that res. Resi.
You have actually no. It's a similar accent to some folks I know around here, and also I can hear the Canadian in your accent too. So
I can
yeah, it's a
totally
little
hear the
bit.
American in your accent.
Oh, of course you can. Of course you can. Can you hear the Southern American
I'm
in
more
my
Southern,
accent?
yeah.
I was
I'm
like that. Can you hear the
Yeah, a little
Southern
bit.
American?
Yeah, I like it though. I've always liked American accents. I've always been fascinated by that. Yeah, it's really, really cool.
Well, thank you for thank you. I'm not. Yeah, so share your socials. How can we find you? How can we follow you?
Yeah, well, before I do, I got one more quick story for you,
Okay,
if you don't
yeah,
mind.
please tell us. We don't have to leave.
Okay. Yeah, I'll tell you about another personal. It's actually a personal and a professional experience I've had with cannabis here in Canada. A couple years ago, and again, I'm not going to mention any names or anything.
Please
but,
don't. We don't want that. We don't want that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not here
Yep.
to slander anybody,
We
but
like to sit back and watch the drama from over here. We don't want to be a part of it.
unfortunately, I got attacked and fired from a job because of cannabis, because there was some rumors going on about me, and this was before it was legal, by the way, too. So it was illegal at this time for cannabis. So anyways, there's some rumors floating around, and one day I got this letter, and it just so happened to be my birthday too, by the way.
I feel like, why do I feel like this is such a deja vu thing happening right now?
I was like, I got this letter, and it was my birthday, so I thought somebody's like give me a card or something, right? And I was all happy and excited. I was like, ooh, what's in the letter? And I looked, and I was like, I nearly like broke down right there. I literally felt like my head had been chopped off, and I was holding my head in my hand, and it said in the letter that there's rumors about me and blah blah blah, marijuana, blah 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 blah, weed and all this stuff, and it was just a terrible letter, and it was from my own people, like not from my own community, but people that are in kind of my territory. I was hired to do a performance and a workshop at this conference. Anyways, the conference was a month away, and then they sent me this letter. It was hand delivered to me, and it said that I was no longer hired for their conference, blah blah blah.
Oh, no.
So anyways, I was upset about it, and
Is this
so I
before?
called.
Did it happen before legalization or post legalization?
It was before legalization.
Mm.
It was a couple years before. So,
So you
anyways,
didn't have any avenues to even like.
well, actually, no. This is where the story gets interesting. So I had a medical card at the time from Aurora Cannabis. So I was actually a medical, considered a medical user at the time, right? I used it for anxiety and stress and body pains that I get. Sometimes just from working out too hard or dancing too hard, and
We know
you
we're
get.
also.
Yeah. So, anyways, I had a legitimate card for it. So, anyways, I called this company out on Facebook, and I put my card on the letter, and I do a post, and I just totally just
Yeah,
I
these
just
people
roasted them.
like fired a patient. Like,
I just roasted them, and yeah, there was a lot of backlash and stuff. And then the person that wrote that letter called me in a rage, and so I took the high road on this one. So what I did is I actually said to the person that did that to me, I said, hey, look, why don't we use this as something good? You're trying to fire me over this, blah, blah, blah. Why don't we use it as I'll do a workshop for the people at your conference, and I will talk about this and the benefits of it, and educate on how it's good for our people. It's better than the pill popping that's going on the res. It's good for stress, anxiety. There's all kinds of medical benefits. It's a cancer curing drug. It's not a drug, actually, by the way. It's a natural herb that grows on the earth. It's a medicine. And why don't I do
lavender drug, right?
Yeah, why don't I do a workshop on it and stuff? And so, anyways, long story short is I got denied of that, and I nearly got my head chopped off for trying to advocate for it in the first place. So I don't know. I've never really been the type to protest very much. I'm not a protesting type, I guess. So I was just like, okay, well, whatever. I just kind of let it go after that, and yeah. So
That's sad, but I'm glad that you stood up and said it with your chest, with your whole chest. I'm sorry that I was trying to wrap up early because I was thinking it was Monday for some reason, but it is Wednesday, so we got
Yeah.
some time. We got
It's
some
okay,
time.
but also, you know, on that point, like hopefully, as we've been in the legal industry for in Colorado as long as it's existed, and so to see people's minds changed over time, or people that were very staunch about not accepting cannabis or still do kind of turn their nose up at it or whatnot, it's fewer and fewer, and and so more education is being offered, and whether it's from a good perspective or bad perspective, at least there it's being talked about, in the fact that it is in our communities. It is, you can't just say we're going to ignore it and not talk about it and just be like it's bad. Well, then, as much as we have information, and that it's good, so go ahead and present me with why it's bad, and not just because like you have this opinion of it, versus we have actual,
we have some
yeah,
whether it's anecdotal or not.
Lots of natives smoke weed, man. Before it was legal, it was getting legalized, and long after it's been legalized, and now they're just getting better.
And they're still going to do it better.
We were just talking about I don't have the headline for this, but for those of you who are regulars here, you might remember when we talked about New York. When New York legalized, some of the tribes said we're gonna open dispensaries on our land, and we don't care what your regulations and laws are. We're going to just start doing
your timeline. We don't care.
We don't care about your timeline. And I was like, why don't more tribes do that? And then that is a source of,
well, not all tribes are up to speed.
Right. Exactly,
Some are 20 years behind.
Right.
Like those more urban tribes, they're more progressive that way. They're more on it.
Yeah.
Opposed to like my res, where I come from, they're about 20 years behind. They're still kind of catching up, but they're more bowing down to the oil industry than they are to the cannabis industry.
There's
So
still, yeah, there's still towns like that, you know, especially here in
Mhm.
Colorado. There's still, you know, coal towns and, yeah, and whatnot that just,
Do-
they're not letting go.
Um, Marion, do you know anybody in South Dakota that could talk to us about that? Because we would really love to talk to somebody out there about what's going on out there, and also about specifically dispensaries opening on tribal land, with the tribes just being for it and creating their own set of rules. So I would like to talk to someone about that. If you know anybody, connect us, please. I would love that to have them on. But yeah, I get what you're saying, but when when the higher ups, the officials kind of get on board with it, that's when you can get the community along. Like now they're not so, it's not so stigmatized as much. Especially when we're talking about with the elders. The if tribal members voted to put the dispensary out here and for us to have it, then it must be.
well, some reserves are a little bit more sovereign than others.
Mhm.
There's some that are a little bit more leaning towards the government, and then there's some that are like more like "F you, government, we're sovereign. This is
Yeah,
our
yeah,
land. We'll
yeah.
do whatever the hell we want. So
Right,
back
right, right.
off."
And
You know.
that's what we're
So
seeing in some of these states where they're like, we don't care what you said. Because South Dakota just failed to pass legalization, although theirs was a little iffy too. A lot of them were. I think Maryland was the only one I was like, well, this should pass. This is going to be beautiful. But the others were a little iffy, and I wasn't surprised when some of those didn't pass, South Dakota included.
yeah, yeah. Oh, that's it's the same in Canada, I guess too. Like we got I actually just came from. I was in the Washington State about a month ago, and I was on one of the reserves out there on the coast there, the Coast Salish. It was somewhere near the town of Shelton. There's a reserve, a couple of reserves there. Anyways, they had dispensaries on there. I was like, cool, man. They had like
Yeah, that's
10
dope.
of them down there. I was like, they're all over, like right next to the casino, even like they right across from the
Mhm.
casino. And
Yeah, just
yeah,
in certain places, in a lot of places like Colorado, you cannot smoke on any kind of tribal land or any. You can't do it. You're not supposed to.
interesting. Yeah, well, they must be one of those res. Their res must be a little bit behind. But I also heard that too, that religion has a lot to do with
Yes.
how natives like the Mormon kind of practice. Like the Mormons are kind of against it, right?
Yeah.
They're
I'm
allowing for, I think they allow for CBD in a strict, very strict fashion. I know that their elders have consulted people in the cannabis community, but because again, they know it's in the community. They know it's being utilized regardless of in certain degrees, and so
um
yeah, I think that they but I don't think they're
Well,
moving
most
towards that.
reserves they call dry reserves, but they're not. They
of course
alcohol
they're
or
not.
drugs still
Again,
find their way in.
alcoholism. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um painkillers, and then when they can't get painkillers, it's the same. It's the same here.
Yeah.
It's the same here. And then of course, indigenous communities are more affected by this happening. Like of all communities are being affected, but indigenous communities, especially communities of color, especially are being more impacted by alcoholism, by the the epidemic of methamphetamines on the streets, people turning from painkillers into like heroin or something else. And it's happening in all communities, but of course it's going to affect communities of color and indigenous communities more. And it just, and nobody does anything about it. They just keep
Yeah.
peddling it out. And then
Yeah.
they put a kibosh on what do you call it? Cannabis. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Couldn't think of the word cannabis. That's crazy. So yeah, it's just it's frustrating because we see people, their whole lives are affected. They're affecting the lives of others in their families. They're losing their lives, and then cannabis can help turn that all around.
You know what? I've been hearing about our social problems for years and years and years. Like I'm 44 years old now, and the narrative hasn't quite very much changed. It's been kind of dragging itself out. I think the only way to kind of solve our problems in the future is to get our people more business savvy, more financially literate, so we can kind of control more of our destiny, and also to provide more resources for our community, instead of waiting for the government to do something. I think it's time for our people, and that's kind of one of the things I'm advocating for now moving forward, is for our people to get invested in real estate and to get more financially literate and get their finances in order, because we have the potential to do so. We have the resources to do so, but the education is missing. So that's my mission now moving forward with the phase I'm at in life, is to encourage our young people and anybody in the community. I'm willing to help anybody get their finances in order, and my attitude is, if I can do it, you can do it kind of attitude.
Right.
Because I come from the same background as you. I've been there. I grew up there. I got a t-shirt, man. I got 10 of those t-shirts. So, that's what I want to share moving in the future, is that our people need to just step up and rise up by investing in themselves and creating wealth for themselves and for their families, so they can prosper and get the resources that they want and need. And I think just one step at a time, one business plan at a time, one endeavor at a time, I think we can get there. And that's what I want to put out there in the world. And that's my new drive in life, is to put that out there in the world.
That's amazing. We'd love to help you in any way that we can with that.
That's awesome. I love it, because it's exactly where we also,
we love it. The education piece.
Yeah.
It's the most important piece. I mean, if we educate people, then, they're going to be able to prosper, or at least make decisions about their medicine, or, whatever the case may be. It's the most important part of cannabis, aside from the growers.
Yeah.
We need y'all to grow it.
Yeah. Not everyone can grow, and it's proven.
Yes, it's proven, that not everyone can grow. Some of us can do it well, and I'm glad that we're here, and we should all band together and grow more than just cannabis too. Grow some tomatoes,
grow some food.
Grow some food in your yard. I want to get rid of the grass in my yard. I want to get rid of it for several reasons. One, grass, ew. But also, the grass in my front yard doesn't have any what is it in the grass that keeps it standing up? I don't know, but it doesn't have that. So it just lays down whenever the lawnmower goes over it. It just lays down. And then it's just big grass.
Oh,
and then
I don't know my grass, man.
I don't either.
I just got
like
here.
Florida grass. Florida grass grows to be cut. So and to suck water. So
I'm gonna tell you, these rabbits are not gonna be
those
happy.
Ones stand up, so it can be cut.
I'm gonna make the rabbits out here real mad, because I'm not keeping that grass. That grass is not staying.
They'll move along. Well, you'll have some grass in the backyard.
Yeah, they'll be in the backyard. But
the indigenous way of taking care of your grass is you just got to burn it. Just light it on fire. And
I don't think that my neighborhood and my neighbors would be okay with that at all. And I just paid a lot of money for this house, so I don't want to burn it down. That grass is very close to my house.
Yeah.
And it's all wispy and stuff, so it would just be like just
sounds like you need a gardener to kind of map it out for you. And those guys are worth the money, though.
They are. They're worth it. I want a xeriscape or
xeriscaping. It's not like you're going to do a rock garden, but do a xeriscape that doesn't have to be cut and watered, and can withstand the elements. And
or if I did a grass, I would do clover grass or something like that, something that doesn't grow and doesn't need a lot of, like you said, water and stuff.
Plant for your zone.
And I'm going to plant a lot of vegetables in the back.
Yeah, guys. Well, I gotta head out now. So thanks for having me online here today.
Thanks for coming on. Did you want to do a Would You Rather with us?
Would you rather?
Yes.
What's that?
Just a question.
Okay, so, would you rather Would you rather find $5 on the ground or find all of your missing socks?
$5 for me.
I'm gonna go with $5.
That was a simple one. You know, we have to ask on the way
Okay.
out. Well, it was great having you on. Thank you for hanging out. We always do a would you rather at the end of the show. So stick around, audience. We just want to talk for a few more minutes. We're going to talk about Missouri. And yeah, and join us next week. We're going to let you guys know what's going on in Vegas too. But thank you for joining us today. And we would love to have you back on in a future show to talk more.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Sounds
right.
good to
Thanks.
me.
You're so interesting.
Yeah. You guys too. Have fun, and thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. All right.
Okay.
So I had another one, but I wanted to keep it. I want to keep it chill with our guests because
yeah, he had to get going. His Instagram is at Celtic_Cree, CREE. And I don't know what his TikTok is, but he does do a lot of you can see his performances and the different things, and you can go to his website. We'll have it posted on our socials.
You said Celtic_Cree?
Yes.
Celtic. Like this?
CELTIC.
Hold on. Like that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So that's where you can find him. Since we got some people from Missouri in here, we'll just spend the last 10 minutes or 9 minutes ish that we have, just because we were talking about it before. I wanted to know if they're putting a whole like no hemp derived cannabinoids, or is that just in the regulated market and not for like the smoke shops and the et cetera, et cetera? That's my question. That's on the table. But yeah, it's interesting that that we're starting to see now. I mean, every time I look at these oh yeah, there's also some on his YouTube as well. Every time thank you. She's following him on TikTok.
Oh no.
Hey, what's up, Daryl? It's Celtic Cree, just one word on TikTok, so no underscore. If you go to the TikToks, we'll have to go follow him on all those. What I was saying is I've been watching all of the platforms out there, and there's people asking questions like, when can I shop at a micro business? And people are like, I mean, they can't even do anything for 2 years. And then like, how can I avoid the corporate businesses? But I mean, you can't. What about expungement? Well, they just, again, today, I just got a shared post that said that THC is not going to be an expungible offense. So that means there's no expungements. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Are they going to expunge hemp offenses? Are they going to stop charges on hemp offenses? Is Adela Wisdom going to get released from charges that are pending on her, and I think her husband too, for hemp that they haven't even tested yet. They haven't even tested it, so they don't even actually know what it is, and it's hemp, and they've been steadfast saying that for at least the last, I don't know how many years I've known them, or I've been friends with them on the Facebooks, but the point is, are they going to, is that what we're talking about when we talk about expungement? Because we certainly aren't talking about all of those thousands of Americans in Missouri that were going to be, to have their offenses expunged. That's certainly not what we were talking about, right? They just said that in court today, or not today, but recently.
Right. Yeah, I'd like, we didn't tag anyone specific to answer those questions, but
yeah, we did.
If y'all are out there and listening in the playback, we'd love to. We're gonna have more conversation. Of course, we'll about this.
They're doing it on purpose, though. They're doing that to her on purpose. They're dragging it along on purpose. They keep making her come back to court to dismiss it, or not to dismiss it, but to push it back further to another court date, to another court date, to another court date. Meanwhile, she has to pay for an attorney the whole time. Like, what? And then she can't go anywhere. Like, they're stuck right now. They can't. So, I mean, just like dismiss the damn charges. It wasn't even that much. I've seen a lot of the pictures that she's posted, like full transparency. She's been on a show to talk about it too, in the beginning, first year show. It's upsetting over a plant, you guys. I don't give a shit if it's hemp or not. Honestly, I don't give a fuck. Who was she harming with it?
No one. And then there's even something about the fact, they're like, it's and then they moved it. And then I think there's some kind of like, you can't remove something from the ground. It's like, the fuck? Yeah.
Right. Will any of that 2% funding help her? Will it? No, it won't. It won't. First of all,
no, I think that was one of the things. That a public defender was not that she has had bullshit time.
It's insanity.
With her
it's like they're all fighting against us, and they're like, well, we'll work with you, we're gonna legalize. They didn't legalize THC. That's what it says. That's what the court decision says. THC is not legal. It's not legal. Prohibition 2.0.
Which means cannabis
and they're like marijuana offenses, but not THC. What the fuck? That's an oxymoron. I don't even know what you're talking about right now. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, and here's the thing: you didn't test it then. How's there a THC offense then? So is that the workaround?
Are you just making an assumption? Right.
Yeah. Now is there?
They're all THC offenses. What the fuck?
I don't understand. It makes my brain hurt.
Another trick and another loophole to keep black men in jail.
But
it's a start. Yeah, that's what you guys look like. Exactly that. I love that you said that. Yeah. That's what they fuck.
But now, now it's a claw yourself. Everyone has to claw themselves out of this situation, or it's not even a possible situation for them, or
for all those people that voted yes for this, you should have said, the reason I'm voting yes is because it legalizes cannabis for me. That's it. That's the answer. That's the reason.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. Hey, vote how you need to, but don't say that that it's going to be good. It's not going to be bad for communities, and it's going to do all this stuff. Those were not true. Those are not true.
I want to see the, Queen of Terpenes has been very vocal about where y'all at for your community. You're not even holding food drives. You're not doing anything to support. Like, where you at?
Remember that time when John Payne was literally like, we're not discussing semantics? But yeah, we shouldn't we? Because words are important.
Words are important.
The words that you use are important. It's important. Is important.
Then don't use them. Don't use them.
I feel like y'all might feel like you got bamboozled, but you didn't. They told you exactly what they were going to do.
I want to know if anyone that voted yes is, kind of like people that voted, whether, I don't know, whatever election where you felt like disappointed in the way you voted. I know that there are a few people in certain elections that are like, well, shit. Anyone?
I mean, you saw how easy it was to get people who were going to vote yes on the show to begin with. But yeah, like do any of you feel like you were lied to and that's why you voted yes? Because I would like to know that, because I
want to know the people that that it was said to help, that it's not really going to help, and for those examples to come out, and for all of those, for all of those, POWs sitting there that this will not help. That now again, these the different groups that are, trying. It makes it even, now it's even harder for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least at one point they had a chance for something, and
so
now
I guess the suggestion right now is to get your medical card and get it on the medical market. But honestly, your medical market is corporately owned too. So,
and you can't go anywhere else to get it. So
and you can't go
and you may not even be able, like find a caregiver.
Do y'all want to hear the would you rather that I was going to say
Yes.
Okay. The would you rather for today is, would you rather have one nipple or two belly buttons?
Does that mean you only have,
I don't know if it means you only have one boob. I think it just means you have one nipple.
you just have one nipple? Okay. Instead of 3 nipples, you have one nipple.
Maybe there's like one in the center or something.
Like third eye.
Like a
just right here. Just right here instead.
Or two belly buttons.
I'm going to go with one
an
nipple.
innie and an outie.
No, nope. 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 Belly buttons are weird and gross. Your feeding tube that is now inside you is disgusting. No. It would depend on where the other belly button
Where else would it be? Is it going to be like on your...
I know. Is it going to be on top?
Is it on your butt cheek?
Is it on the existing belly button? Is it on the out? Is it on your back on the reverse side?
Oh, weird. Like it's an innie on the front and an outie on the back. What if it was an outie on?
That's truly a twin that ate the other twin.
That's real life. You were like, rah, and you just have like, okay, so then you would have an outie belly button.
Which is kind of like having a third nipple. I don't know. Is that like, I don't know. I don't know.
I've seen people with a third nipple. It is very weird. What if you had an outie belly button and on the front and an innie belly button on the back, but when you pushed it, it went it went reversed. Then would you do it?
Third nips are cute. All right.
What?
How do you feel about one nip though?
Yeah,
is a solo nip cute?
Where would it be located is also my question. Because
next, did you hear
just got here?
Are you?
Would you rather
what
have
did I
one?
Walk into now?
Would you rather have one nipple or two belly buttons? And we were discussing how the belly buttons would operate. If it operated like that, I would say, oh, what if it felt weird though? Like, what if you could feel it all the way through?
Or 2 innies is just, I don't know. That's super creeptastic.
2 innies. I used to say that I would never date anybody except Lenny Kravitz, who had an outie belly button. But
it's not even outie. It's just not super innie, right?
No, he has an outie. He has
like
an out.
I mean, I'm not saying his. I don't know. I'm not really think I'm like in
some people
person.
have like a flat
in person. Have I seen an outie?
You know, some people have that flat, no indentation belly button, like the like, you know, and so it doesn't go in, but it doesn't go out. But then some people have the outie one, and I don't know how I'm not dated no offense, not body shaming, but I've never dated a full outie. I've dated like a half.
I'm gonna say I can't recall the last time I've seen an outie button in person.
She said I need both nips to balance. So you got to have 2 belly buttons, and that's the choice. It's either or. You either have one nipple. And that's what I was thinking too. I was like 2 nipples feels like more balanced. Like it's 2 or none at all. And if I had a third nipple, then maybe I would tattoo another one. I don't know what I would do about it. Where is the nipple? Where's the nipple?
I'm going to assume as a woman, it still has to be functional for children. So,
Okay.
so I would assume it would still be like,
On a tit.
but maybe you're just missing it. You just don't get one on the other. And then that poor nipple, poor single nipple having to bear the burden of it's bad enough that you have two, and they still, I heard these things because that's one of the reasons I was like, I'm going to put that as a checklist of no, nope.
No, I'm not interested in that kind of no. I don't. There was did I tell you there was an incident. Did I tell you guys this? There was an incident at the Costco a couple weeks ago where it was like it solidified my my choices in life, my life choices, when there was this child like screaming but couldn't express what he needed.
Oh yes.
Oh my Lord. She was like,
great.
Bacon, balloons. Like, he was like, no. I was like, oh no, I couldn't.
That would just be like, I don't know. We're gonna cry as we walk out the door, not me trying to figure out your cry. Like, but that's how my mom handled things. So that's how I know I would have probably handled things as well. It wasn't a choice. It was like, you're going to stop pitching a fit, or we are, your dad's gonna take care of it when we get home. And then that was like, okay.
So I think she was practicing gentle parenting, which do as you do. My mother would have whooped my ass. I'm not saying that was the right decision at all. But if we went to the bathroom at any point in time when I did not have to go to the bathroom, I was very afraid. I was not looking forward to that trip. I knew why we were going because I was being a pain in the ass. And yeah, but that's what kids do. And kids are not adults, and kids don't have like emotional IQ. They don't know how to emote properly. They don't know how to tell you what they want. And that's why you have a job, because you're supposed to like help them figure it out without freaking out every time. And the first few times, like the first like 12 years or some shit, 18, 22 years of their lives, you still have to teach them that.
I babysat a child when I was a teenager that could not fully speak yet. She was verbal and but that also solidified that I never wanted to babysit children again that could not verbalize what they need and what they want. And then two, again, that I love my nieces and nephews, but I can put them away to their parents.
Yeah, this is yours.
And
baby's
again,
crying.
I love children. I'm just thankful that I don't have my
own. That's a very strong word, love. But I
do. I love my friends.
There are children that I love. There are children that I love.
Okay, yes, that's what I was saying. There are children that I love. On
a whole, no, I don't love children on a whole. But also more on point is I don't love their parents, because their parents are the reason they act that way. This real life. I mean, I know that children have temper tantrums and stuff, but then also you see these older children who should know better already, and they're still doing the same shit, same toddler shit. No, absolutely. Listen, I can't do it. I'm just going to admit my faults right here and now. I'm just going to admit my
more
faults
power,
right
more, you know what, moms, you guys are fantabulous. Thank you.
And dads too.
And dads too. Thank you for doing it. Thank
you. Yeah. Thanks for raising the future. Now, don't forget that that's what you're doing, though. Don't forget that that's your job. You're raising our future. So please do a better job. Some of y'all, not y'all in the comments, but like, you know who I'm talking about. You know somebody.
This is yes. This is yes. So everyone do better.
Do better. Where's the nipple? I would need balance. I'm going to go with 2 belly buttons, but I also want them to be operational because I think that would be kind of funny little party trick.
Would you want any outie? You want the any outie?
I don't know. Maybe I would put them both on the front and just click them like a fidget spinner.
But not any, not both any.
I'm an any. I would rather have an any belly button. Side note, there's a mole in my belly button, and my mom one time thought it was a tick. She put nail polish in there.
Awesome. Like she didn't try to like pull it out though, like a.
Well, I mean,
like
she did a little bit, but like, but it didn't. Then they realized it's not a tick. It's still there. We're intact. It's fine. It was the 80s, y'all. You can't even stop. You can't even stop it. You can't even stop it. They were putting kids in jail. They still do that in the South too, y'all, because they still live in the 80s. They didn't even. Some of them, not all of them. Anyways, y'all, this has been an absolute fucking pleasure. Oh, we did it. We did that Thanksgiving today, and holla at Daniel at Waxy Brown. Want to give him a shout. Thanks for including us. But there was like one rule, and
every time
there was one rule. Okay, so the last time we did an interview on the radio, we had one rule, and this time we had one rule. It was the same rule because he broadcasts on the radio, and that rule is that you can't cuss. And so I know when people say that rule, they're usually looking at me because I say fuck a lot, and y'all know I say it. And so I was like, okay, so then I'm just talking north, and this one says shit. She did it on the other one too. She said shit on the other one too.
same. I'm probably talking about the same thing. Yeah, because that is my.
That's her thing. Is that she says you know that sometimes we have conversations with like people who don't want to necessarily carry our drink, and it's because they're carrying a drink that's not getting a lot of play, and it's because that drink does not taste good, so they don't have repeat customers. They don't have repeats. They just have like a buy one. This tastes like garbage. I'm not buying it again. And that's it. And that's not what happens when people drink Queen Kitty. People come back for Queen Kitty once they've had it and once they've tasted it. They come back over and over again, right? So we kind of talk about that. She was saying that, and she was like, and they say they don't want to carry our drink because CBD doesn't get a lot of play, but that's because the drinks they're carrying taste like shit. Woo!
I will have to start changing my verbiage. It's disgusting.
Tastes like garbage. Tastes like that.
I think probably too is the sweeteners that are put into some of them are, again, I'm not a sweetener person, except for in my cakes and cookies and chocolate.
That's what it's supposed to be.
And
I'll go watch
not
Bad
in
Moms,
my
by the way.
drinks. Yeah,
Like,
so
no sugar, no sweeteners, no yeah, like how you supposed to bake it
for your bakery sale, yeah. And so I don't like stevia. Stevia is as soon as I see that in any product, I will not buy it. I will not taste it. I already know I will not like it. Even if it's like flavors and drinks and everything that I love, if it has stevia in there, then it's a no-go for me. It's gross.
Yeah. I agree with you. And also a lot of these products just taste bad. We had some gummies that left that taste on the back of my mouth. I had to drink one of our drinks. Like I had to drink the whole thing to get that taste off the back of my mouth.
It's like I feel like I still taste it. No.
Really gross. It was really gross. And they're like, we're about to take these to market, and we're like, no. And then there was a lot of HHC, which is
we need to do some research, or maybe find some guest references for that, and see. Maybe this is the time we reach out to Dr. Ethan Russo. No,
maybe it is. Maybe and then that other guy that we saw on the Did we get his information? The guy we saw at the hemp conference that we really liked, the clients?
Asa, yes.
Yeah. I would love
yes,
to have him on to talk about some of these things, and because he was one of the ones that said there's never been he said there's never been a Delta 8 test that has been like safe, basically, right? Is that he said? I'm paraphrasing, but
yeah,
I'm pretty sure he said that, and I would love to have him on to talk more about that and talk about these other cannabinoids that are popping up. They're just pop, 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 pop.
Yeah, what one of my accounts that popped into today, he was like, what would you take away what they say about CBD? He's like, market saturated. I said, yeah, I said that. I was like, but more so, like, what we took away is that people keep running away from trying to legalize this plant and want to, in the proper way, and want to just keep making cannabinoids to,
find a loophole.
So that's what, in some sense. So there's always going to be, I was like, and instead, there's always going to be advocates, obviously, and people fighting for it, but there's always going to be, it's like, gosh, it's like, why do you want to keep pivoting like that? That's a crazy game to keep playing. And it's I don't know. I guess for me, I'm like, okay, yeah, there's biologists out there and scientists out there working on these things and things that I don't even understand.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, but for me, again, the plant and even down to like, I don't do a lot of concentrates. I do as needed and not a necessity for not being able to actually use flower, in some spaces. But, like I don't know, I kind of feel like the same. I'm like, I want my flower.
Yeah, I do too. I want the flower too. Yeah, I think this is an awkward end to the show. Well, anyways, you just got frozen in this like super stoner pose. It was fantastic. Anyways, you guys have an excellent day off if you get a day off tomorrow. Eat hearty and fill your belly. Do things that honor those who came before us. Maybe do things that honor indigenous people who came before us. Cooking was part of that, and sharing food and sharing stories. But make sure those stories count. Make sure those stories count, and don't back down. Listen, say it with your whole chest. Listen, I know who's going to be at your table. Okay. Say it with your whole chest, because in this life, you're never going to lose anybody that you're not supposed to lose in those moments. Like, I mean, I know that's heartbreaking sometimes to say, but like literally, if sometimes people are blocking your path or things. And so I'm just going to say to you, if it needs to be said, say it with your chest. If it's something that you stand on and believe in, you say it with your whole chest. Say it.
And that, and if it's going to hurt you and you're going to play it over and over in your mind because you didn't say it, go ahead and say it, because then you can think about why, about how instead your thoughts are, man, I said this and I feel so much better. And you know what? I'm sorry that person's reaction wasn't probably what it should be, but I can now move forward with my life.
Right.
And, create that space. Yep.
Yeah. Well, this time of year at these types of dinners, there are often those really uncomfortable conversations that we have with our own elders. And what I'm going to say to you is, respectfully, say with your chest. You don't have to take shit from nobody.
Yeah. Yeah. You can say it respectfully too. Yeah. You don't have to curse them out or, be a dick.
Nope.
Yeah, but you can let them know, where you stand and how you feel about things. And that means, treatment of yourself, gently. Yeah. Like, I don't deserve to be treated this way. If you're, you
ain't gonna tell me. Exactly. So, and be safe out there for the season. And if you can avoid shopping, please do. Stores didn't start being open on these types of family gathering holidays until, like, I would say probably late 90s, 2000s. So I maybe before that, I don't know, not really. Well, I don't remember any of that. If you didn't get it the day before Thanksgiving, you weren't getting it. If you didn't get it the day before Christmas, you weren't getting it. And that's just the way it went.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
So like, I mean, maybe a corner store, a convenience store, but like really everybody was closed because everybody was spending time with their family. And so just if you can avoid putting money into the coffer tomorrow for consumerism, the consumerism coffer, then do that. Just take a day off from shopping. As a matter of fact, take a weekend off from shopping. And I know what I'm saying to you. I know where the best deals are. That's how they get us. It's all mind control. So anyway, if you can avoid shopping, do so. So and enjoy your family, enjoy your friends.
Local. Yeah,
And shop local. Yeah, shop local. It's Shop Local Saturday this weekend. So definitely if you are going to get out and about, shop local and do it after tomorrow. Don't do it tomorrow. We love you guys. We'll see you after the holiday weekend. On the 28th, we're going to come back. We're going to tell you all about Vegas, and we're going to have just a little chill session. Any of y'all want to join us, you let us know. We'll bring you on. We'll just smoke and joke. But we're going to tell you about Vegas, our Vegas experience. And yeah, that'll be a Monday show. So we'll see you then. Have a wonderful weekend, long weekend. And we love you guys. Thanks for hanging in. And we'll see you next time. Make sure you like, follow, share, and don't forget. Don't forget. I didn't forget. I almost forgot, but I didn't forget. Make sure
no. Be kind.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot that too. You see how quick I'm trying to like. I know the whole night I was like, it's Monday. Let's get up. Don't forget to be kind to yourself. Put your mask on before assisting others. Very important. Love yourself first.
Cultivate that love. Bring it to you.
Bring it to you.
You deserve it.
You do. Let me light this back up.
And if you are feeling unloved or have no place to get love, we'll send you some love.
We got you. Follow us on Discord. Let me just pop that up there real quick. You can follow us solo.to/canvascloset420. And as always, you guys, stay lifted. Stay lifted. Smoker. Woo. See you guys on Monday.
She's still sleeping.